Hi, everyone. I am Lindsay, and I would like to welcome you to our live Wednesday interview. And today joining us is Derek from Open Farm Pet. Thanks for joining us today, Derek.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. We will be asking Derek a few questions today, and we'll also take live questions from the audience out there. If you'd like to ask one, just make sure to type it in the comments section below this video, and we'll be able to see and select those questions during this live broadcast. Okay, so let's begin and get right into it, Derek.
Sounds good.
Tell us about your relationship and responsibilities with Open Farm Pet and the genesis of this business.
Sure. So, I'll try to give you the more abridged version, but
Okay.
about probably 4.5 years ago, I started this company with my brother-in-law, Isaac, and his wife, Jacqueline. And really what came together was we were looking for an option to be able to feed, our dogs, basically something that mimicked how we were shopping for ourselves. And in terms of being able to find meats that really reflected, no antibiotics, having a type of definition of like how they were raised. And we couldn't find that offering. And we kind of gathered our heads together and we're like, okay, well, seems like we should, do this. Like it's something we're passionate about. And that kind of was the genesis of how we decided to start a humane pet food.
That's a great story and a personal story.
Yeah, definitely. So it's been 4.5 years now. Obviously, so many different things that we had to overcome to get here. But today, it's honestly amazing, and I'm so glad that we decided to pursue this.
Absolutely, and people are very passionate about pet foods and what they're giving to their animals at home.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Consumers today, they're almost more focused on what they're giving their child, their pet,
Yeah.
than what they put in their own mouth. And I think that gives us an excellent opportunity to really educate them on the different humane animal welfare standards that exist, and why we decided to develop this exact company.
Well, I care very much about my three cat children as well, so I totally understand.
Good, yeah, and I hope you feed Open Farm.
Yes, absolutely. We actually
Okay.
we tried it out right after. I think we had some sort of conference, and we had an Open Farm Pet sample that you allowed us to send out. And I definitely bought a bag after that because I wanted to give it a shot. So
Awesome.
pretty
Well,
great.
great to hear
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Is there anything that connects you personally to farms or farm animals from your past?
Well, when I think about it, what really gets me excited about what we do is my general love for animals. I've grown up surrounded by dogs my entire life, had several pets, and I think as I've gotten older and really understood the food system more, it just makes so much more sense to me that, all animals should be treated with a higher level of respect, regardless of the end purpose.
Yes.
And to me, I feel personally so much more, I just feel a lot more proud of the foods that we manufacture based on the sourcing practices that we employ. And, when I actually go out and I visit the farms and I speak with the farmers and I understand how they themselves feel empowered being able to produce to these standards, it definitely, gives me a sense of that we're on a bigger mission than just making a pet food. And I find that really rewarding.
Yeah, it's definitely improving the lives of farm animals in the system. It makes a big difference. And
100%.
encouraging farmers to do the right thing, it makes a huge difference as well. Is there
Yeah.
anything you could say about farms or farming that maybe you know now that the general public you think may not know?
I just think people are really disconnected from the food system, and they're not up to speed necessarily with what it actually means to farm, and that goes all the way from whether or not someone is understanding how food literally goes from Iowa, where they're raising a lot of pork farms, and all the way to their plate in California, and
Yes.
what had to go into each step, and how that impacts the overall system. One of the more interesting things that I've come across is, how important it is to rotate crops, and how people don't understand that, if we could literally have a more developed system where we're putting animals on, let's say, on a certain pasture one time, and then in the next month rotating to grow corn, and the next month after that, a different crop, how much more nutrients we would preserve in our overall system. And just employ those different tactics to really overall increase the sustainability of what we're going to have to do for the long-term population.
Absolutely. Well, as you know, pet food is a very contentious topic among a lot of pet owners, and there are a lot of very strongly held opinions about what's best for our pets. Where do you fall in that debate, and how do you differentiate in the crowded marketplace of best for your dog solutions?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that I would, want to say is that I truly believe that Open Farm represents the highest quality, best dog food that you can buy. And my rationale for why I believe that is because we use the highest quality ingredients available to us. And then we actually source those raw materials in a transparent manner, where we actually have the knowledge of where each and every ingredient comes from. And by having that inherent knowledge, we're able to have full confidence in exactly what it is that's going into the product at the end of the day. And, by doing so, we're actually also doing it in a sustainable manner, because we're actually able to select which farms we want to use, or exactly which crops we want to buy from, or which fish we want to buy, depending on the season, depending on what's recommended by our partners. And so really, by having the best quality ingredients and being able to be fully traceable and transparent, I think that really, translates to the highest quality pet food on the market and the best that you can be giving your pet.
Absolutely, and traceability matters, because you have to have the proof as to where you're sourcing things, and the public deserves to know where their food comes from too. So it's definitely a great practice to have.
Yeah, I mean, we take a lot of pride in knowing where everything comes from. We think it's incredibly important and will be a focus for us for the long term.
That's great. Well, being an entrepreneur and starting what sounds like a family business, what have been some of the greatest challenges in launching Open Farm Pet and making it sustainable? And is there any specific story you can give us to illustrate the adversity?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the more tangible, ways that I can show you what was difficult is, when we're buying from our suppliers, these guys really haven't sold to pet food companies before. So we're literally going up the chain and we're buying direct from the farms. And so if we rewind, some of the more hurdles was, how do we find these farmers, right? And that's where we look to partners like you guys to help us identify who could be the right farms for us. And, we literally had to create a supply chain that allowed us to use their raw materials that were available in a pet food facility. And that was a solution that took us over a year, I'd say, to put together. And, lucky to say now it's working nice and smooth, but figuring out how to do that at the beginning was a tricky feat.
I'll bet it definitely was.
Yeah.
Talk more about your decision to partner with us at Certified Humane, and how did you hear about us, and what really moved the needle for you guys to make the decision to go with this program?
Yeah, so I think it goes down to transparency. There's so many claims out there about, who's doing what with their animals. And to us, it was very important that there was a set framework for what does it mean if we're going to be sourcing a higher animal welfare meat. And when we were sort of looking at the different options, Certified Humane represented to us a very clear, objective standard of how animals are raised under the program. And if we are able to maintain that traceability through the entire supply chain and be able to carry forward that on our packaging, the consumer would have a full understanding of what that meant. And that was vitally important to us, to be clear and concise so that there wasn't really room for interpretation. This is what it represents. This is what we're doing. And it's very important to us at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I visited your website quite a few times as well, and you guys are very, very transparent. You guys have some great infographics on your page, not only describing what you guys do, but also Certified Humane as well. So if your customers are interested in knowing more about Certified Humane, they can see what you guys have posted as well as checking out our website as well.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite things to do when people ask me, like, well, talk to me about how your chickens are raised, is I'll say, here, let's go to the Certified Humane website, and I will show them the 36-page document that outlines all the standards so that they can go and actually research it. And to me, that's very valuable because it's a third party coming in and saying, these are the standards that we're adhering to.
Absolutely, and we like having our standards available on our website to the public anyway, just so that people, if they're curious or have questions about our standards, they can also read them online. And please feel free to give us a call as well, and we'll be happy to discuss that with you too. So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know that we call you all the time to discuss new farms and different products we're thinking about. And so, you know, I'm very versed in them, but of course, if anyone has questions, they can also reach out to me. I always love chatting about different standards.
Yes, absolutely. Well, the fun part, what do you enjoy most about your work? And is there anything you can share with us about a win that was particularly memorable in your business?
There have been so many wins, to be honest. It's hard to pinpoint one. What do I enjoy most? How about I start with that?
Sure.
I love what I do. And, you know, started in a completely different, you know, job out of school, and being able to start the business and be passionate about what we're doing day in, day out, sourcing the highest quality materials to make the best pet foods on the market. You know, it allows me to wake up every day excited. So that's the favorite thing about what I love about my work. Most definitely, it's being able to be passionate about what I do and excited about it. So you said talk about a win, right?
Yes.
You know what? We actually won an award at Expo West. We won the award for most transparently sourced product at the largest trade show in natural pet foods. We beat out, you know, I think it was over 100 human food companies to win most transparently sourced product. And I think that speaks volumes to what we do from a traceability perspective on our supply chain, and what that means to the quality of our ingredients. You know, if a pet food is able to beat out all those other companies, you know, that was probably a win for me that I probably even got a little teary-eyed, if I'm being honest.
Oh yeah, and the hard work, it's nice to get some recognition too, you know?
Exactly.
And speaking of some recognition, we have a comment from someone on Facebook, Guinness Golden, and they said, "We love your food."
Oh, thank you so much, Guinness. That means a lot to us.
Right. More questions about business. Who are your role models in business, and are there any other leaders or companies that fuel your vision for running a values-driven business?
Who are our role models in business? I mean, you know, when I think about role models, definitely, you know, one of the people that comes to my mind, you know, and this is outside of pet food, but, you know, my grandfather, many years ago, he started his own accounting practice and built, you know, in my hometown of Montreal, he built like a pretty large practice. And so I always looked up to him as the businessman that I would one day become. Definitely different situation now, but definitely he was a role model for me that I always wanted to have my own type of business as well. And honestly, all the role models that I look to, and I'm not just saying this, but it's my business partners. I mean, Isaac and Jacqueline, who I work with day in, day out, they are two of the smartest, best partners I could possibly ask for. They also happen to be my family. And, you know, I definitely look up to them in many ways. And it's great to be partnered with people that you really believe in.
And it's really special to have a great team. Building a great team is very hard. And it's very nice to have the ability to work closely with your family as well. So yeah.
As far as like another company that I actually like, there's this one jerky company called Epic.
Yes, I heard of them.
And I'm really fond of their snout to tail program. I think it's something that's super important for our supply chain, is to be able to utilize more and more aspects of the carcass so that we're getting as much, right, this animal can have something, right, so that we can eat. And so I'm fond of that company and their messaging.
Great. I've got another question here. Let's see. Are we freezing or can you hear me well?
Hey.
You can hear me good? Okay, good. I think it froze for half a second there, so I just wanted to make sure you could still hear me on your end. So we have a question from Nathan here. And let's see. He's asking if you have any advice for a young entrepreneur who wants to own a business or start a company.
Thing that I think I've said is that we don't give ourselves enough credit that we can do it. You know, everyone thinks that they have to get a job and fit into a corporate mold. And frankly, I think that a lot of people have the ability to do it. Not be, you know, this gigantic that creates, you know, $1 billion, be a smaller family farm that works. And that, so I just think it really attainable goal that some people just, you know, think is so far away, you know, actually put together a plan for how could I start a company, whether it's, you know, someone who wants to in business, you know, or you know, build out a butcher shops across Toronto and have a niche, and you can have your, have to put your head down and do it and have more confidence in yourself.
Yeah, and to put the time in and to not give up the dedication. You know, I know that
Exactly.
it's got to get challenging sometimes, but if you're passionate enough about your dream, you'll just keep pushing forward.
100%. There were plenty of times when we could have called it quits because something was too hard, or, you know, there was going to be an issue with this, and how could we possibly overcome, you know, being a small company and competing against these huge consumer brands. But at the end of the day, I think, you know, we were able to show that, you know, we're here to stay, and what we do represents something that a lot of people believe in, and understand what that translates to from a quality perspective of the food they're giving their animals.
Yeah, and there are people out there that are just as passionate about your idea that are wanting products that you have to give the public. So
yeah, 100%. You'd be surprised how many different people, whether it's you know, even a student in high school that sees our product and says, I need to tell my mom and dad about this so that we're feeding our, you know, our dog, or if it's a, you know, elderly couple in Michigan that, you know, found us at their local store and like, hey, we really believe in what you guys are doing. We get these messages all the time, and it's really exciting for us because it shows that what we're doing is something people are excited about.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, the most important question of the day is, how can people get Open Farm pet recipes into the bowls of their dogs and cats?
Definitely. So, you know, we're sold in a lot of stores across the United States right now, and Canada, of course. You know, really where we focus is like the smaller, you know, local chains. That's where you could find Open Farm foods. And so I'd encourage anyone to go to our website. You can go find your store, type in your zip code or your postal code, and it'll show you the closest retailer near you where you can find our products.
Great. And let's see. And in the spirit of Thanksgiving coming up soon, I know you guys have some grain-free turkey recipes for dogs and cats as well.
Definitely. I even actually have one right here that I can show everyone. Here's our homestead turkey recipe for cats. So
nice.
as you know, I think this is the one that you feed, so you're quite familiar, I bet.
Yes, absolutely.
And you can tell we carry that Certified Humane logo right on there, so we're able to have that full traceability for all the chicken and all the turkey that goes in. That would be a great Thanksgiving present to any cat or dog.
Definitely would be. Let's see if I have any more questions here. I think we got them all. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about today, Derek?
No, I think we covered it. I mean, we're so excited to work with you guys, and we really appreciate you taking the time to speak about Open Farm on your channel.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Well, let me see here. Well, to our live audience, thank you so much for joining us today. If you would like to watch again, we will definitely archive this video on Facebook. And we'll be seeing you next week at 4 p.m. Eastern right here for our next Facebook Live Wednesday interview, where we will discuss certified humane turkeys just in time for Thanksgiving. Thank you so much, and see you then.
Thank you. Cheers.